It's June 23rd, 2023. This is the Soapbox. It's where you get all your easy listening needs out of the way. No, it's me, Dennis. I'm hanging out on our after show. We just got done talking about the Flash movie and the first episode of Secret Invasion on Disney Plus. We did a double feature with our guest Zach Thomas. You can find him at Game Wrote. And Ricky was there too, and doing the hosting duties as usual lately. And yeah, we just talked about both things. We had a lot of negative things to say about The Flash. We had a mixed bag of things to say about Secret Invasion. But then we just agreed to possibly just show up afterwards for a little while just to hang out for any of our patrons that wanted to chat with us, or just to, shoot the shit about whatever other nerdy things we have to discuss right now. So I'm just hanging out while I wait for the other two to do their rests and refreshments and stuff, and to get back on here. But yeah, I was a little salty in that other show. I hated the CG in the Flash, and it made it really hard for me to enjoy any other part of that movie. I liked the CG in Secret Invasion, but I hated that they killed off a character that was never really utilized in a good manner. And so I just ended up coming away sounding a little grumpy from both. But hopefully now we get to chill out, do some cathartic therapy with Zach here. I was just recapping what has just occurred in the last hour and 45 minutes.
It was a 2-hour standing ovation for the Flash.
Yes. Yeah. So,
refill
what?
my drink real quick.
Oh, no, that's cool. What? Okay. Go for it. I'll just stare at his room, look at everything, be like, look at that. He's got screens. He's got Funkos. He's got a fan on. This is the stuff that we share exclusively with our loyal patrons. We let them know that we love them by recording our guests' office while they're out getting drinks. It's amazing. Huh. So yeah, we also talked about the Craven trailer. Yeah, I was really cranky today. Sorry guys. It's rough. It's feeling rough again to be a superhero fan. And I think that's what's frustrating. Is is it was feeling really cool to be a superhero fan for a while. Welcome back. I was just noting that we also talked about Craven and how that looked like a pile of shit. And then I realized, like, I know why I was so salty today. And it's because it made me feel the way I used to feel about being a fan of superheroes. Right? Because nothing hit it out of the park. And in fact, we had some really big flubs this week, So like it made me feel like back in the day when, we you go watch X-Men Origins Wolverine with your friends, and then they're like, "Man, you like this shit?" And I'm like, "I swear to God, dude, like they're not always this bad." Like that's what this week's made me feel like. It's made me feel like the old days where it wasn't cool to be a fan of superhero stuff because they're putting out mediocrity.
Like compared to like a movie like Logan or like the Nolan Batman movies, like
I
it's
don't
just
think
weird that we were going a certain way and they were taken seriously, where now it's like
I think
here's a
Logan's
guy.
overrated too, honestly.
Oh, I love Logan.
Ooh.
It's so good.
I think
That's
Logan
a
is an
spicy
overrated
take
movie.
right there.
But I mean, Venom or Logan, which one do you like more?
Well, obviously, like Venom's like way at the bottom of my list, like so far. I will watch Batman Forever all day, every day instead of Venom. Every day. Like I'll go back to some old shit. I'll watch all of Christopher Reeve's Supermans, including the one with Richard Pryor. I'll watch that. Before I just do not have it in me to just watch Venom ever again. It just
Yeah.
it doesn't need to exist.
Well, like you were saying, like I'm not familiar with Craven, but you were saying like his source material, like he's not the Lion Blood has not to do with it. The fact that that's the movies thing. Like for me, I still watch all the Walking Dead shows. I love the graphic novels, but like the shows are so unbearably bad because like here's this great source material. There's like who cares about the source material? Just make up a crappy story for TV.
I know,
It's just
right?
weird to have a good source material. Just ignore it. It just makes no sense because most of your audience that's going to watch these things don't know the source material. So just stay true to it. Who
Yeah,
cares?
it bummed me
You know?
out. Like I think one of the things that hurt the most ever in my superhero loving experience, especially at Comic Con, was when we were there in Hall H and Zack Snyder was talking about the much anticipated Superman Batman Dawn of Justice movie, right? And people were asking him what he used for the source material for the to reference this, and he said, "You know, actually, I didn't feel like using any of the source material, so I just kind of wrote my own story." And I was like,
I don't see anything wrong with that though. It's
um,
wrong when it's bad.
when we've only had 2 movies in the DC universe up to that point, and then you're already veering off book, you don't see anything wrong with that. What if I told you that every Batman versus Superman story that's ever been written was better than the one we got?
Oh, I believe it. I read some.
Then,
But I don't
then
think that
why?
should be like the bar that.
But then why not read those and use those to influence your storytelling when you're translating that to a new medium? Why do you think you're good enough to just do a
Oh, yeah,
better
I
story than
misunderstood.
all
You
those?
said he didn't read anything, or he didn't he didn't. It's not referencing any story.
He chose to write a story that didn't have to do anything with the old ones. Like
Yeah, I don't see. I don't think
I don't
he's
remember
never.
how he said it,
That doesn't mean he
but
didn't read any of them.
no. I'm not saying he didn't read them. I'm saying like go find the quote. It's way worse than I'm making it sound. But he didn't choose to use those as source materials. You know what I mean? Like
So you're
like
saying the Martha moment's not canon from one of the comic books?
you know what's funny is it is canon, and they never make a moment. They never make a thing out of it.
It's not
Like
the
it
most important event.
But because, like,
no,
to your
it
point,
just so
that's like Secret
happens.
Invasion. It doesn't do anything with the. There's actually a quote this week of them telling the director of Secret Invasion not to read the comic.
Yeah, well, because the comic is so it's at a different it's such a different point in that universe that it wouldn't make sense to even do that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Like,
I think we're splitting hairs here with that quote.
no, well, I didn't give you the quote, okay? Like, so we're not splitting hairs. You're splitting me not being able to reference the exact quote, and you're focusing on the words of it rather than the the intent behind it, which was he made it very clear to the audience there that he could write a better Batman Superman story than had been written before.
Well,
And that
I would
was
presume that the Secret Invasion writers knew the material they were writing off
Yeah,
of too. It's the
I would
director's
presume
not the
that
same
too.
thing. Where for Zack Snyder writing the movie, not giving a damn about the reference material is
yeah.
different. You know?
And we're just arguing something stupid too, because
Yeah.
it's been proven time and time again that Zack Snyder is a terrible writer. Like, he's a great director, great cinematographer. Never gonna have anything bad to say about that. Writing, come on, man, Martha, that's it, dude. We're done with this argument. But with Secret Invasion, I will say this: it's not the most amazing comic book ever. It's definitely not even the biggest crossover event that they've done in the last 20 years. It's a cool story, I guess, but like at the time, I guess it was like I got caught up in the hype and I was like, "Oh man, Elektra's a scroll. How long she been a scroll?" And then I realized, "Oh wait, I don't read most things with Elektra, so I guess it doesn't matter." You know, like, and then if with each character that they revealed, it was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna go back and read those." You know, like that's how it really was. It was fun in the moment, but then I was like, I'm not actually invested in those. So automatically, this show has the potential of being better because we're all invested in every single. We've seen everything, right? We've seen literally every story that's ever been told in the MCU. So they have the potential of of shaking up the status quo.
How we didn't talk about the show, but how would you feel if this was a pseudo Agents of Shield backdoor in the same vein that the Hawkeye show was a pseudo backdoor for the Daredevil stuff to come back in?
I would only feel weird about it because tonally that is not what they've set up in this first episode. And I think the reason I say that is because Agents of Shield over the course of its 7 seasons shifted into a really campy tone. And so it
Yeah.
would be weird for them to pivot the show that we're watching to like this week into
You got the
campy.
inverse with Daredevil and She-Hulk, where you got a very serious Daredevil show, and he was he wasn't not cool, but he definitely was a different type of character than we did see him previously.
Was he though? Was he different? I think he was just in a better place emotionally when we saw him in She-Hulk. But I felt like that was still Matt Murdock. Like I felt like he just happened to be happier because Kingpin's in jail. You know what I mean? Like you got to remember those 3 seasons are rough on him.
I mean, he's technically dead.
What's that?
He's technically dead, right? Well,
nah,
presumed to be dead, but
yeah, presumed to be, but he ain't dead. You know he ain't dead.
I know he's not dead.
There's a Wilson Fisk toy coming out later this year, man.
It's from the Hawkeye show. That's how that works.
Yeah, right.
But you know what I mean. Like, so no on the Agents of Shield then.
I'm not
saying you bring them all back.
I'm not. No, you're not bringing them all back. Don't bring them all back. They're not all good. Zach, did you ever watch Agents of Shield?
I think I got like 2 or 3 seasons in on Netflix, wherever it was, for a while. So not all the way up to date, but a few seasons. It was enjoyable for a while.
It got rough.
Yeah.
It was at its peak when Ghost Rider was on the show. But then as soon as Ghost Rider was on the show, you're like, well, your show's broke now because he's clearly the most powerful being in the Marvel universe. And you have to explain why he doesn't show up in the other things. And they just never really did. He just disappears and they're like, okay, I guess your universe is stupid now. And then it just got worse from there. And then they did time travel, and then their time travel contradicted the time travel rules that were established in Endgame. And you're like, no, now my brain's really broken. And now it got even worse when we met the TVA, and you're like, wait, why didn't the TVA erase Agents of Shield? And yeah, it hurts. And it hurts because the movie side of Marvel was never really working alongside the TV side, even though they promised that they would be. Like we learned a lot later on that Jeff Loeb, like he was their sacrificial lamb, right? Like they basically threw that guy under the bus and said, thanks for doing all these TV shows, you're out of here, buddy. And then Kevin Feige is going to take over from now on. And so you're kind of told to like treat all the previous things as like soft canon, right? Like, is that what you like to call it, Ricky?
Yeah. It's like lore. Take what you want.
Yeah.
Leave what you don't.
Yeah.
So
like the Daredevil show not having like Foggy or what was like Karen, like they're not going to be on the Daredevil show supposedly, but like they're involved in all the previous story of it.
Wait, Foggy's not going to be on the show?
Supposedly not. Yeah, that's and then whatever Deborah and Wall, they're not supposed to be characters on the show.
I'm fine with Karen not being on the show, but no Foggy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so like it's a continuation of that story more or less, but also not, because it's like not the same characters at the same time. Seems like so.
That hurts my soul
a little bit. That guy was great. So
I don't. Yeah, he's
like Punisher's supposed to be back on it too, right? So.
Yeah, looping Punisher back in, Jessica Jones supposed to be back in. No,
no Iron Fist,
Luke Cage or Iron Fist, but
no Luke Cage either, huh? I don't blame him. Evil is a way better show. It's really good. I like Mike Coulter as Luke Cage, but I like him better on Evil. He's better. Yeah. If you never watched Evil, Paramount Plus, That show is badass.
You're all over this Paramount Plus. I don't have Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Dennis. Tell me more. What's going on with this thing?
Free trial. They got all the Star Treks there.
You watch
too.
Halo yet?
I watched Halo last year.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's all right.
I-
It's what it needs to be.
I never really played the games, so I didn't have any problem with the show.
Yeah.
And
I know Frank had a problem with that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's a better
But-
show because of it.
Yeah. It was nice for me to like enjoy a piece of nerd culture without any baggage. You know what I
Got
mean?
to see his ass.
Yeah, you got to see Halo Guy's ass. That's what I call him. I know he's called Master Chief, but I call him Halo Guy. Yeah, no, I think that was a very refreshing thing for me to have, like, not have any preconceived notions going in of what it is, because that's how I am all the other times, right? Like that's how I am with the Flash and Secret Invasion and Craven and all these things. It's I get angry because I have a knowledge, but I never had an Xbox, so it made it really easy for me to never get into Halo. You know, like just like Harry Potter, I read one book.
Well, there's great reasons not to like Harry Potter now.
I read one book and I was like, this is trash. And I just never read a single other one again. And I didn't understand the hype. And I eventually watched those movies. Like last year, we did a binge on HBO. And I was done with it. And I was like, nope, I still don't see the hype. But now I'm 16 hours of my life gone, or whatever, however many hours it was.
Gotta throw Fantastic Beasts in there.
Nah, I just didn't do it. I was just done.
More Ezra Miller.
I was done. But I will do a weird segue because Fantastic Beasts, the first one had Johnny Depp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched The Idol?
I've seen parts of that show. That is a horny ass show.
That show is crazy.
I was at the concert they filmed some of it at. Fun fact.
That show is. Do you have HBO Max, Zach? You do,
Yeah.
right? Because you had PC.
Yeah,
It's called Max.
Yeah, it's called Max
now,
now.
thank you. I keep getting emails from Max. I'm like, who the hell's this person emailed me?
This
It's
is
like
Max.
confusing.
The Idol is a show developed by the Sam Levinson, who was one of the producers of Euphoria,
In the
And-
same universe as Euphoria.
and The Weeknd. And I guess they came up with a story to tell, and it is bonkers. And it's so bonkers. Max has to put a sexual warning message at the beginning of the last 2 episodes to let people know that something on their platform is of extreme.
It is like straight pornographic and like
Yeah.
times.
It's not straight pornographic, but it's close. It's close.
Well, it's Johnny
It's
Depp's
Skinamax
daughter, right?
at
It's
least.
Johnny Depp's daughter. Yeah, it's Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose Depp, and he has been asked like how he feels about his daughter on the show, and he's just said that he's really happy that his daughter is carving her own path. And
So
I
you can
take
say
that
it,
to
right?
mean I have not watched the show because she told me not to. Like,
He's more of a Yoga Hosers fan. That's his lane.
oh
Hosers.
man,
I think
Have
I
you
went to that Comic-Con panel or something.
Oof.
That's all I know of that movie is from something at Comic-Con. So
oh, I saw that movie.
I did too. I saw it at the. So I was still working at PlayStation down in San Diego, and I managed to see it. The Frida Cinema in Santa Ana had it playing as the only theater in all of Orange County. So I made it like the final day they showed it.
Oh
So-
God,
I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. I still stand by it.
I like Tusk.
I haven't watched Clerks 3 yet, but I've been meaning to.
It's on is it on HBO Max or Amazon? It's on one of them. It's on one of the streaming services.
Yeah,
right
I think
now.
it's for rent or something like that. But
who's
I
the
think it's
other
out
girl
with
Yoga
Prime.
Hosers? She's
Uh,
also
his
Zoom.
daughter.
it's his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter.
Same
Yeah, they're
with
like-
what?
What's
Kevin
that?
Smith's daughter, and then
He's-
and
Oh, okay,
Johnny
Kevin
Depp's
Smith's
daughter.
ass, like his daughter and Johnny Depp. So I thought we were talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's what it was.
Kevin
Yeah,
Smith.
because they're
Yeah.
neighbors, right? That's like the whole story.
Yeah, they like live in the same area, or like her
Mhm.
friends growing up.
And the daughters grew up together, like
Yeah.
best friends, stuff kind of thing. Yeah.
I like your filthy casual shirt, Zach.
Thank you.
Remember
I have
picking one
like
up at
7 of them,
PAX.
different colors.
I was on a plane with them because they used to live in San Diego. The people that made them, I forgot the guy's name.
His
And I had
name's
my-
Filthy.
Yes, and his wife's name's Casual.
Yeah.
But I had my shirt on a flight back from PAX, and they were like, "Oh, that's us." I'm like, "I didn't know you live here. That's cool."
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I
was
got
your
a free one
summer?
from somewhere before, but yeah, it's comfortable. They're all like super comfy. They fit well, so
I just
I
like having a
recommend
thing
them.
that says "filthy casual." I think it's kind of
Yeah,
funny.
it's entertaining.
What was your Summer Games Fest highlights or this
I
pseudo E3 time that we're in?
I was as a lifelong PlayStation fan, I was very disappointed by theirs. Like I said earlier, like it was like Spider-Man looks amazing. A couple of guys Desi's work actually work there now, so like I'm all in favor of that game. It looks great. For me, it was just weird to have a conference or a showcase that basically is all third-party multi-platform games. So that was just confusing. The Summer Games Fest had some good stuff. The Xbox one was probably like the best overall showcase. I mean, just Starfield looks
Starfield is
incredible.
crazy.
Yeah, like the stuff you supposedly can do in that are amazing. Even games like Fable, like the Xbox one just looked so much better for gamers and like gaming. It had a better variety and whatnot. And even like the stuff for Nintendo, like the Vampire Survivors is an awesome game to get on the Switch. But yeah, overall it's good. I mean, obviously I like games in general, but I thought that was disappointing for PlayStation to have that lackluster of a showing for me. You know?
I always
Yeah.
I feel like I'm so in tune with like games media, but when it comes down to it, I just play Call of Duty and Madden. That's all I do. But like,
Well, it's
my
like usually
literally,
like Fortnite and NBA 2K are like my usual
yeah.
rotation. So that's the two main
Oh, we
games
gotta
I
get you on
play.
the Fortnite action.
I
Yeah.
I will say though, like of all the games, and this is me wearing a Spider-Man PlayStation 4 T-shirt from working on that game. My most anticipated game that I got from Games Fest, Mortal Kombat 1. Oh my god, that
That game
trailer.
looks amazing.
Whoo, boy. I love Spider-Man, but I want that Mortal Kombat game so bad. It looks breathtaking. It just looks so beautiful. And the amount of violence in that rivals Terrifier 2, which I watched today. Like
Some penis ripping off action.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if they ripped a penis off in that
Dick
game.
rips.
Yeah.
I always so like what's you guys both worked on games like when you guys how does stuff get announced to you guys? Like you're working on Spider-Man. Are you just sitting in a meeting and like, hey, we're doing Spider-Man next? Does it come in an email? How does
No,
that announcement get
it's
dropped?
usually a meeting or an email, depending on how high you are up on the food chain, right? Like if you're a stakeholder, it's a meeting, right? If you're the grunts that that have to just do the job, you just get told after somebody comes out of a meeting. You're like, "Hey, we're doing Spider-Man," and they're like, "What?" And but that's how it works. It's really just a phone call or an email or something like that, and depending on how much you care about it, mileage will vary on how excited you get. Like when I was working on the God of War games, uh, it was super exciting. When I was working on, hey, we're doing another MLB game. Like, yeah, I figured.
Guess
It
what? We're
pays,
doing it
pays the
again.
bills.
Yeah, so
Did
it's
so well they
always.
put it on Xbox.
But I will say, like, that says a lot to what Zach's experiencing. Like I will say, like, when I was working at PlayStation in the early 2000s, there was a lot more excitement about new projects because we were always surprised by the things that were coming in the pipeline, right? But like in more recent years, I think it's fewer and far between, like the surprises, right? Last of Us 2 is not a surprise. That's like, okay, yeah, duh, you got to do another one, right? Like Spider-Man 2 is not a surprise. Like that's
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Even Wolverine's not a surprise because the success of Spider-Man 2. So it's harder. Like I feel like they're getting a little bit more safe.
You have to though, just with the amount of time and money that now goes into games these days.
I think you have to do the safe ones, but you also have to do some things that people don't expect.
One for me, one
Well,
for you.
that's what's yeah, like that's to me what hurts PlayStation recently is because they don't have the diversification of games. Like on
Yeah,
Xbox, a game like Grounded, like it's just super cool. It's like it's an RPG. It's like Honey I Shrunk the Kids. You're little kids in the backyard fighting insects, but it's like super
exactly.
deep. It's got base building. Like it's got tons of cool customizable stuff, but like it's not a massive third party action game. Where like for me, I know PlayStation does like resource sharing, so like they have like the San Diego team works on games that Santa Monica's working on. They all kind of work on them collectively now. It seems like, but like the games look too similar now because they want to make it probably where every studio can work on the same game, so they all look like the same action third party game now.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but it makes your games way too similar and less kind of exciting.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot less than 31 flavors. You know what I mean? Like that's what.
Yeah, there's like two.
Yeah.
Well, the Xbox lane, they put a lot of investment in. What do they own? Like 25, 30 studios now.
I mean,
Yeah, and like and they're
Sony
all
owns
kind
a
of
lot
doing
of
their own
studios
thing.
too. You know?
Yeah, but like
That's
that's where I wrote an article last year, I think, basically about like you could see Sony trying to diversify. That's like the Gran Turismo movie, the Last of Us show, the Uncharted movie. Like they're trying to diversify and get money for other resources. Where like Microsoft just has unlimited funds, so they like money's not an option to them or not a problem. Or like Sony, like the PlayStation brand is huge, but Sony as a whole isn't that
I mean,
huge.
you're like
Like they're not the same as like Microsoft, So like
you're
they
a few
have
bad
to
games away.
license stuff. Yeah, it's like they have to like hit on everything. So it just I understand the position they're in, but like it sucks going from like the PS2 generation to just the weirdest shit games, like these weird Japanese games that come out, like games like Katamari Damacy that came out during those generations are just like the dumbest thing in the world. But like I played the shit out of that game and it was fun,
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
they wouldn't put a game like that out today. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't take a risk on a game like that or even bother with it, So it's just weird seeing the position they're in right now. It's they're more business oriented than they are game oriented right now, which I mean it makes sense, but it's a bit of a lull for them, I think.
You got to
And,
fight that legal battle.
We talked about that last, a couple of weeks ago with into even Across the Spider-Verse. It felt more like the business was involved in it rather than it being just a straight piece of art like the first one was. And I know the business was involved in the first one, but it felt less like that than this time around. You know what I mean? So it is. You can see if you look around at all the things Sony's doing. I mean, the pandemic was rough for them, like as a company for sure. And they have a very prestigious position in games, right? But they don't have that same foothold in their other markets anymore, like their other brands. Like TVs, it's not as good as it used to be, you know what I mean? Like the electronics, like all that.
CD players and
Exactly.
players.
So
Yeah.
so they're playing it a lot safer with the one that's actually making them the money because they need to right now. And it's just unfortunate for fans, because like we want the weird stuff. We always want the weird stuff because the weird stuff is what you can brag about and be like, yeah, Xbox has Fable 3 or whatever, but check out Katamari Damacy. Like it's like
You're rolling up the cosmos. It's crazy.
yeah, exactly. So I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. Like it's how I feel, and it's how I felt when I was working there. Like when like those first few years, man, you just never knew what game you were going to be working on, and it was always crazy. And you're like, what? They're making this game, and yeah, as the years went on, it just got safer and safer. Like so.
Yeah. Well, like right now they're working on a bunch of live service games is what is the rumor, and they haven't really. They've shown a couple of them, and like for me, they're all like action and shooter games too. Which like for me, like you have such a good back catalog. You have like even bringing back like that PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, like a game like that. Like make that your live service game. Like just copy Smash Brothers and make it a live service. Like bring back Mod Nation Racers, make it a live service game. So like.
Yeah.
The fact that their live service games are all going to be shooters from what it looks like, it's like you're not going to compete with Fortnite, you're not going to compete with Apex, you're not going to compete with Overwatch. It's like why would you even bother making that your push when like you're not going to compete in that genre? It's just weird that that's what they're going with, and they're basically basing everything off of like Bungie as their guide. It sounds like too, which like they make Destiny great, but like that doesn't mean they know what's best for other type of games. Like that's their only game they're really on right now. So
yeah,
they seem to be relying on them way too much for what they're doing.
Is Marathon the remake, whatever that is? That's a live service game, right? What
I
they
think
said.
so. Yeah. So that's the
Yeah.
old. I'm not familiar with it, but that's an old Bungie title. But yeah, like same thing. It looks like it's probably going to be competitive shooters. Like it's cool. You'll have people that like that game, but again, you're not going to beat the top 3 games that are already in that genre. Even like Call of Duty having life service stuff. Like there's 4
Bring back
major
SOCOM.
competitors there. Well, like at least that was different. Like
I like
just-
SOCOM, man.
Yeah. Yeah, like it should
SOCOM
be
was
like
fun.
stuff like that.
But
Yeah.
SOCOM was fun because it was innovative, right? Like you could actually like issue commands over the mic to your team.
Yeah, like it was strategic and tactical versus just like an
Yeah.
action game,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
I mean-
like when the PS5 first came, I think they announced too much stuff too early. So I think that's partially where they are. Because like we know, Sucker Punch is working on a new game, probably another Ghosts. You know the studios are working on stuff. And I think they just don't want to announce stuff too soon. Where it's like, hey, this game's coming out in 2025 because who cares,
Well, they watched Microsoft get burned, right? They've been burned for the past 2 years by doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, but
that's
like Microsoft had nothing, so that's why everyone just talking crap on them. So like they don't want to be in that position either, but they kind of need to say, here's our roadmap, because like people are like, Spider-Man, Wolverine. I think that's about it. It's like you don't know anything beyond that right now, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. God of War 14.
Yeah, I'm sure that's their. Well, I guess the rumor is they're going to reboot it, not reboot it again, but do the same thing, which is a different.
Like a different
continuity
or something.
Yeah, different mythology.
Different mythology, yeah.
But
when there's like rumors of a Twisted Metal game and other stuff too, is like it just
Twisted Metal show.
Stuff,
Yeah,
so but like there's supposed to be a new like a rebooted game too, which I guess is like Switch developers. So like just start announcing stuff and just get a general release window. Get something to be excited about.
Yeah, it's really easy to be salty right now with our media. Like, like it's just like, do something different, guys. Like, so in that aspect, I guess bravo to them for killing Maria Hill because
it was different,
It definitely was different. It was different. It wasn't good, but it was different. So yeah.
If she's still alive, would you rather be a scroll or just magically just not dead from being shot? What would you rather?
Right?
I wouldn't mind the LMD. That would be pretty dope, Ricky. You would make my heart grow 3 times bigger if that happened. I could be down with an LMD.
Was there blood in that final scene? That finals?
I don't know. My wife pointed out though that at least she got to be super comfortable in her clothing. She didn't have to wear the stupid outfit anymore. You know what I mean? She just got to.
She only wore it in the first movie.
I know, but like literally everybody in this episode was dressed super comfy for a superhero action show. Like they were just wearing the most normal clothes ever through the whole episode. And she died comfy. She was like wearing a hoodie and a jacket and some nice pants.
Nice and warm, cozy.
Yeah, nice and warm. By the way, that was filmed in London because there's no way in hell they were going to film that in Russia. Yeah.
Shocking.
So,
I went to Disneyland or California Adventure on Monday. Visited the old Avengers campus. It's kind of weird.
It's like super small, right? Or like kind of compact?
It's really tiny. I mean, I've been there before.
I've spent a whole day there before. I think it's just big enough, but I think the Spider-Man ride sucks.
It's all right. When there's no wait, it's all right.
I think it sucks.
I haven't been to that since they put that land. I haven't been back, so I haven't experienced it yet.
We got the bad. Well, did you watch the Doctor Strange show when you were there?
Yep.
Yeah, we got Gamora, and I was like, oh, all right, I guess I'll take Gamora. It was a little weird though. I was telling my girlfriend. So we were there on Monday. Monday's a holiday, Juneteenth. Not a single black superhero out walking around.
They're taking the day off.
Federal holiday.
The Dora Milaje was there.
Well, you just said not a single black superhero.
Okay, let me backtrack.
What
they
the
don't
hell?
count, Ricky? Yeah.
There couldn't. I mean, a Sam Wilson. You couldn't no one.
Hey man, the Dora Milaje were there. I don't like your.
We got Dora Milaje. We got
the Dora Milaje are badass. Okay,
they had the David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury there. It was really bad,
Yeah. What if that's the reveal at the end of Secret Invasion? Nick Fury gets shot.
Hasselhoff's back.
I'm done with the
Hasselhoff's back.
multiverse.
He was the real one all along.
I'm done with the multiverse. Like, we'll see. That's the thing is, I thought we were gonna get Maria replacing him, and then one day when Nick Fury dies, we just get Nick Fury Jr. You know, like we do it. Well, like we're doing in Wakanda Forever. We just get another one. I thought that was what we're gonna do, but now I'm a little confused because, like, is Talos gonna take over as the guy in charge, and then but just conveniently shapeshift into a younger actor later in the years, like or what? Like, we have no
Well, he could
succession plan now.
resume his. Well, I guess he couldn't resume his role, but he was a Shield disguised as a Shield dude, right? And Captain Marvel. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right.
I mean, he can work his way back. But it's
Yeah,
also, I one thing I do hope by the end of the show we get some clarification on, like, what is Shield, because it has been muddy since or post what is it, Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I don't need Shield to come back. Like, I don't need that, but I do need to know what, like, who carries Nick Fury's torch when it's done, you know. And before, I had a very clear succession plan, and now I don't. And it's not, that doesn't make it bad. It just makes it different for now.
Well, like Dennis, with the with your comic knowledge, like the new Captain America, the New World Order stuff, like where does that relate to, or is that a different group, or what's that supposed to be, or what do you think?
I think at this point they're mining way recent comics, so recent that I haven't read them. Like,
the story that I'm seeing, it centers around the Eternal thing from the Eternals, the island or whatever that's made, and the rumor or thing is that people are mining it, and on it is either vibranium or adamantium, and that's kind of, people are trying to vie for this island as a new, to get vibranium to do whatever nefarious shit they want to do, and that's the dynamic that movie's supposedly taking. So
it'd be better if it was adamantium.
I think it is. The leaks are saying adamantium.
But in fairness, Wolverine already exists. We saw in She-Hulk. One of the
man with claws. But he had him not had surgery.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. He could have the claws. He has the claws before he's got the thing. You're right. Good catch. Good catch.
There you go.
In fairness, I grew up with that not being the case. Like, that was.
Is that a recent thing?
Yeah, they wrote that story like 5 minutes before they made the movie. Like, that's literally what happened. Is the guys at Marvel were seeing the success of these X-Men movies, and they're like, "Shit, guys, people like Wolverine. I don't think we can keep this secret any longer. Like, we gotta write the origin before Fox does." And so they literally wrote the book, and then Fox was like, "Thanks, we'll take that." And then they went and made the movie. Like, that's what happened.
I thought that was the whole Weapon X stuff. Like, you talking about the first movie or the movie?
No, I'm talking about Wolverine Origins.
Yeah.
No one ever knew that Wolverine had claws before the metal.
Like the bone.
Yeah.
Oh,
no one knew that.
Okay.
That was in his origin. The origin story that was written in 2000s. Yeah. But there's always been mysteries to Wolverine's, like, life.
Okay.
He's got giant memory gaps, like the character. And so no one ever got to know where he came from until 2000s, right? Like, because of the movies. And so it's kind of weird. Weapon X is the only thing that the furthest thing back people knew about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because that's basically when his brain was wiped. And so, it made him a cool, mysterious character, but, like, you can't do that. You can't, like, dangle that carrot for, like, 50
you gotta
years.
show him.
Like, yeah. So now he's James Howlett. That's his name. See, it's fun to know the things and see those things kind of referenced in your shows. And so like that's why my knowledge of where the stories, the journeys that Maria Hill goes on made me upset because I'm like, oh, she gets to do none of the adventures? Okay. Cool.
You can do like a
That's
Black Widow thing where she just gets a Maria Hill movie, it's just backstory, you know?
oh my
Yeah.
god. Ricky, if the Black Widow comes back because of Secret
You're
Invasion,
saying that because it makes sense. It does. You get
it
that
does
Scarlett
not make
Johansson
sense.
money back. She
It does
said she
not
has a
make
project in the works.
why
A
would
Marvel
she
project.
jump off a cliff? Why would a scroll jump off a cliff?
For humanity, Dennis.
Yeah,
Okay.
for it's not even for humanity, it's for everyone, for the universe.
But just why not just be like, oh, I get it, because she has to be
Right.
loved.
He
Right?
has to be attached to her to get the rock. That's
Yeah,
how it
that
it makes sense. It
it's
makes
still
the
dumb.
most sense.
No, it's dumb. It's dumb.
The
It's
math
dumb.
checks out.
It's dumb because then people will forever be like, oh, you never watched the Marvel movies? You should totally watch all the way up to Endgame and then stop. Then don't watch anything after Endgame. You know what I mean? Like, because that's dumb. No.
When it doesn't really match up with like they're clearly going for like newer, cheaper actors too moving forward, you know. So it wouldn't make sense to bring her back because she's expensive now, you know. So
She's gonna get expensive and she's gonna get older.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Grey Widow. There you go.
Yelena is the Black Widow now, and I'm fine with it. Florence Pugh is superior to Scarlett Johansson. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. If you're watching, Florence, feel free to come on our show.
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime. We'll bump Zach. We'll bump
oh
Zach.
come on, you're gonna have her on talk Peacemaker? Come on now.
What is the next DC thing? It's Aquaman. That's next spring, though,
No,
right?
Blue Beetle's July,
Blue
then
Beetle's
Aquaman's Christmas. I think
Okay.
it's supposed to be December still for Aquaman.
Blue
yeah.
Beetle's next month.
Yeah, July sometime.
it
It's like a
is.
couple
Oh
weeks away.
man, I got
wouldn't-
I gotta say that trailer hits different after the Flash, right? Like I don't feel as hyped for that Blue Beetle movie as I was
Well,
before
it's a
I
new
watched
universe, so I mean, he doesn't have baggage, right?
I didn't feel hyped to begin with, but you know, I'm glad
Batman's
you
a
were for a while.
fascist. I was when I first saw it because it felt like a Marvel movie. It looked like a Marvel trailer. And I was excited. I was like, okay, I'm down. George Lopez in a superhero movie. Let's do this. Let's go.
I think we get a Warner's at Comic-Con. Like, I think you get if you're gonna do it, that's the perfect place to do it. You get James Gunn on stage. He does his thing. You know, he's pretty charismatic there. He shows some of the slate, shows some Blue Beetle, shows some Aquaman, and then you bring out Superman, and that's your closer.
Well, I don't know. Is he done writing the movie, right? Or is he writing right now, isn't he? Or
the movie's written.
Yeah.
They're casting it right now, and then
he probably cast a Superman. But everybody's gonna boo him. Everybody's gonna boo him.
Are they gonna boo him?
I don't know. I feel like
that's like home turf for him.
You have the most perfect looking Superman that's ever existed, and he's just like dropped. They just dropped him.
Too old, Dennis. Too old. All right, we want to be young.
He is old. He is older. Man, that dude got dirty. He was too
Henry
young to play
Cavill's
Bond,
perfect.
and he's too old to play Superman.
He's still the most perfect looking
He's
Superman.
a good looking Superman. He looks the part.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they'll probably cast, and hopefully it's a no name person. Like I would prefer it be somebody we don't know. Like I don't want the baggage, you know. Like I don't want the baggage of having Nick Cage as Superman. Like that's just weird, gross baggage.
No,
like,
it'll almost be someone in their 20s.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like I'm comparing it. You know, like I'm glad that Nick Cage movie never got to be made. Like I don't think I would have been comfortable with Nick Cage.
Oh man, what if they had George Miller's Justice League in a flashback?
Well, obviously that's cool, except for Armie Hammer. Which
yeah,
you can
do it all without the Batman. Yeah,
that guy has a freaking documentary on Netflix now. Like
he's selling timeshares in the Caribbean.
Is he really?
Yeah.
He ate people, right?
That was his love language, is saying he would eat people. That's what it came down to. I thought
Okay.
he was rich. I thought he was super rich.
I don't know.
But
Zach, have we gone too far with you?
Let's get back on track here, guys. Let me throw a question out for you.
okay.
Okay.
So James Gunn now in DC, right?
hmm
Who would you want to see the Guardians cast play in DC movies?
Ooh, okay. I think Pratt would be what's the dumb Green Lantern? The redhead?
I honestly would like Pratt as Booster Gold.
Sure, Booster Gold. He's getting a
Sure,
show.
yeah,
We know
that's a
that.
product too. Yeah.
I know it's going to be a show, but I'm just saying, like, he would be a pretty good Booster Gold. Like,
Booster Gold, or is it Gay Gray Garrett? Jay Garrett?
Jay Garrick,
Jay Garrick.
Gay
Did I
Jarrett.
say that? I was trying to think G and J, and I. Well,
Or are you thinking of the the Green Lantern?
yeah,
Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner. I knew there was a G.
Close enough. You know.
I don't see him as Guy Gardner. You got a guy is a little uglier.
Okay, I think Pratt
Guy-
could be ugly.
No.
He
Ugly.
could put his weight back on. You know.
Yeah. How about you?
I
Zach?
didn't say guy is fat. I just said he's uglier. He's got a face that's been punched one too many times. You know what I mean? Like definite broken nose kind of guy. I'm trying to see. I mean, Batista wouldn't. I think he's kind of done doing that kind of stuff. But
No, he's a serious actor now.
yeah, he could be like. He could be like Tobias Whale.
I'll take a Killer Croc.
No,
Killer Croc, Batista, put him back in makeup.
Batista's definitely not going to do that. I guess it's like, what do we want them to be versus what they would actually do?
Or Mr. Zaz. I think Batista could be Mr.
Too big for Mr. Zaz. Way too big.
Yeah, I think like Bane's the like easy, obvious one, but yeah, like it's
Mr.
Would
Freeze.
even have that too? Yeah,
he'd be a pretty good Bane, actually. Yeah, because
you don't need a bunch of makeup. Yeah,
he's old. Yeah. Mr.
Zoe
Freeze is not
Saldana.
supposed to be jacked, by the way. Like, Mr. Freeze is not a jacked person. Like that's
Ricky's Batman's Batman and Robin. Okay, you know
that's true. That's true.
It's a great Batman. Ice skates. Ice to meet you.
Never leave home without your Bat MasterCard.
I tried to watch Batman and Robin with my kid the other day because I'd seen The Flash and knew Clooney was at the end, so I wanted to know who George Clooney was at least. We got like 30 minutes in, we just both gave up.
I have not seen the movie in like 20 years. Let's be real, but I remember liking it. And I had toys.
Yeah, it's hard to get past the first part of it.
I remember apologizing to my girlfriend after we left the theater. Like, I was so hyped for that movie too. Like I couldn't see the bad in the trailers until I was there in the movie, and I'm like, oh no.
I think when Batman and Robin have ice skates at the beginning, it's like, oh Jesus, what are they doing?
Was Batman Forever considered bad at the time?
No, that was the most successful Batman movie ever.
Okay.
That movie made a ton of money.
And Kilmer didn't want to come back?
I don't think it's that he didn't want to come back. I think it's just that maybe he didn't. I don't know. But it's like that movie was like on the edge of being too campy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But like somehow people like it in spite of certain things that they shouldn't like. But what happened was, because of the success of that movie, like it reinforced all the bad habits of Joel Schumacher, because they said, you know what? You get to do another one, and this time with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Uma Thurman, and George Clooney. And he's like, oh, so you want me to do more of X, Y, and Z? And the fans are like, no, it was not those things that we wanted more of, But I think Jim Carrey just kind of like the way he plays Riddler is kind of nuanced, right? Like it's like
that's peak Jim Carrey too, right?
Yeah, it's peak Jim Carrey, but it's like you took Ace Ventura, but you added some darkness to it. You know what I mean? And like, it's just barely too much. Like it any more, and it would have just tanked the movie. But and then like same with Tommy Lee Jones. He's like there, but it's not good, but it's not quite awful.
Well, did you guys hear the like the Schumacher cut like stories about Batman Forever that came out like a week or two ago? Kevin Smith were like supposedly there's like a cut that has the original version, and like Tommy Lee Jones, like apparently all of his dialogue was dubbed over to be like that over the top, like he was just like more deadpan or monotone like in the actual real version. And they basically dubbed over like these giant theatrical like just cheesy lines over everything, like, and a bunch of other stuff changed, but it's just weird to like hear how the movie's gonna be. And then they like it was more for like selling toys and getting McDonald's Happy Meals and like making it more like friendly or like, you know, kid friendly, I guess. But
yeah,
that's how you made your money, right? There wasn't no streaming residuals back then. It was...
I know I had the McDonald's cups growing up. They were amazing. Those little crystal like glass cups they made. Oh, they were great.
I
probably don't have any more, but I wish I did.
I will say one of the funniest things that I saw in The Flash is when second Flash makes his suit out of Michael Keaton Batman, and at that part in the Batwing when he turns his head to look and smile,
it's all
and the mask won't turn with it. That was the funniest part of the movie for me, just because he looked so jacked up. Like he just looked terrible. And I was like, this is the first time in this whole movie where looking terrible paid off. And I'm cool with it. You know, like that was the only intentional terrible looking scene that I will accept from Andy Muschietti. He can go on the press tours and say, oh yeah, I meant to do all that. I call bullshit on that. Bullshit. It's not how I feel. Anyways, you got any more questions for us?
We gotta round out the cast. Zoe Saldana.
Oh, sorry. Zoe Saldana.
New Poison Ivy.
Vixen.
Or Barbara Gordon. You're a little old to play Barbara Gordon.
Vixen.
Is that the bee?
No, that's Bumblebee.
No.
That's a Transformer. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
No, it was a Teen Titan first.
Oh, okay.
Teen Titan first.
Let's see. Who else we got? Shit, who else is in the Guardians?
Bradley Cooper.
He can voice. Who can he voice? You want him to voice or do you want him to act?
I think he'd be cool to act somebody.
Yeah, get him actual in a movie for once, you know, get him in there for real this time.
I think there's a lot of things Bradley Cooper could play. So then
Sean Gunn's already Weasel, so he's already got Weasel down.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes down to like, what character do I want to see in the DC universe that I haven't seen yet?
Who do you want with long hair? That man does not cut his hair.
Bradley Cooper doesn't cut his hair.
Have you seen him in with short hair in a movie?
I'm sure I have. Limitless.
Okay, one. He was young though. That's early in his career. That's pre no haircut.
Dungeons and Dragons.
He had long hair in that movie. Yeah.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
How long is it?
Like here.
No.
Like to his shoulders.
No.
Maybe a little higher.
Yeah. You just don't like hippie cuts. That's all. Anyways, I'm trying to picture what Bradley Cooper could be. Like, what's? I'm trying to think away from the Batman universe because that's too easy. Get away from the Batman universe. Go to
Lex, but that's the hair thing. I don't think he'll cut his hair.
You could put a bald cap on. Come on now.
Yeah, put a bald cap on him.
Yeah, no, I don't want him as Lex.
He could be Jonathan Kent.
Yeah, he'd be a good Paul Kent
for young Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the Pa Kent's being so young.
Is Addie Kent's?
Because my thing is like the Kents in like the old school Kents, they were like Aunt May status. Like they were old. They were old people that adopted a young boy. And so it's weird to me that we keep making them younger and sexier every time. You know what I mean? Like it's
Kevin Costner sexy?
young. He's younger and sexier than a lot of people do think Kevin Costner.
No, yeah, Yellowstone does good numbers. So
yeah, exactly. So you know,
we're fellow high school alums, all right. So I gotta be on Kevin Costner's side. He's sexy, all right.
Yeah, I'm just saying you may not think he's sexy, but clearly I do. No, no, I actually do. I just thoroughly dislike Kevin Costner. So it really bugs me how often I talk to my mom and she's always trying to get me to watch Yellowstone. It's like
he's leaving. He's not going to be on the show anymore.
I know. She's told me already.
But isn't he just making his own Western show instead? Isn't that the whole thing, right?
I know the money is a part of that.
It's going to make the Postman 2 enter Waterworld.
They merge into one movie.
I've only ever seen the Waterworld show. I've never seen the movie.
You're better off. You're better off.
The show's amazing.
It's pretty good. I just watched like a month and a half ago. It's really good.
We're talking about the live show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still goes on.
A plane lands there. It's crazy.
It's cool. I know. I don't know who Bradley Cooper plays because we keep drawing this out.
Yeah.
Who like? See, I guess here's the problem. Like, we've gotten a lot of characters from the Justice League, but we haven't gotten them in cool ways. Most of them, like Wonder Woman, I think we can all agree is like top of the like. Her and Superman are best cast. Everybody else gets a little bit more questionable as we go down the line, right? Like nobody agrees on Batman, who's the best Batman. Like nobody
Sexy Aquaman.
I think a lot of people like Sexy Aquaman, but there's a lot of people that are like, why is that Aquaman?
Yeah.
Especially
like
when he's gonna be Lobo also, right?
Yeah. Like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn seems really good to me too.
Yeah, that's a good cast. We're not gonna downplay that one at all. But
John Cena's Peacemaker be like outside of that, it's not really like you're not like
those aren't Justice League top tier characters either, right?
Yeah.
So what are we looking at? Who are we missing here? We're missing a Green Lantern. We're missing. I mean, honestly, Bradley Cooper as Hal Jordan would be pretty cool.
Is an older Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
See, if they do the Green Lantern story where like a Hal Jordan trains a young Jon Stewart, if that's what the show is, that'd be interesting. A little bit of both.
Yeah. Or Hal Jordan dies in the story too. You know what I mean? Like, and then becomes Parallax, and then tries to destroy the universe.
Is that the poop cloud?
It is the poop cloud, unfortunately. And then he ends up becoming the Spectre, who is the right hand of God.
Like Jesus God? Or God?
What's
God?
that?
Like Jesus God or just a God?
God.
Oh.
God with the big G.
That gets messy.
I mean, it all gets messy. It's all messy. You know?
It could be their Mephisto, you know?
Yeah.
He's supposedly an Ironheart. I mean,
when does that show come out?
Next year? I'm sure that show's done or not, finished in the sense where it's just VFX work at this point.
Guys, I'm a little tired of all these things coming out.
Yes.
It's a little much now.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about these
anymore. Like it's once you saw Craven, like nothing's going to live up to Craven. So you're like, if they can't reach that standard, don't even release it, you know?
Just rip the Band-Aid off. What are the other pieces of crap they're doing besides Craven?
The Bad Bunny one got delayed or canceled, right?
Bad Bunny left the project, but that one got delayed. That was supposed to have Sasha Banks doing it.
He left the project?
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's on ice. They have the Silk show and the Spider-Man Noir show on Amazon.
Well, like, why don't they just do the Amazing Spider-Man 3? Like that would be the easiest path to go on. Why isn't that the route they're going? Like, can't they? They could do it, right? They have the rights. Like, why isn't that the route?
Seriously, dude.
I don't
Like,
know.
why are they wasting time with these villain movies?
Yeah. The
Seriously.
Tom Holland stuff is where it gets interesting. Like I really, they're gonna ride it out, right? But it's like, how much
cool would it be to like every other year you get an Andrew movie, and then every other year you get a Tom Holland movie, and you're totally fine with that because that one movie set that up to be okay.
Yeah, like they're different worlds. It's fine.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, you could have fun comparing and contrasting the differences of their universes, and yet they both have the same J. Jonah. That would be amazing. Like, it's just like there's so many things you could do with just. I want them to just own the Elseworlds before DC ever gets to it, because it's funny because DC should have owned it years ago, but they just won't. They want so badly to try to copy Marvel,
right? With the Joker being its own thing, the Batman being its own thing.
But the way they did it was just confusing because you're like, so wait, do I need to care about this? Like,
I think it's confusing.
What's up?
I don't think it's confusing.
I think like right now, not knowing what their actual like proper universe is, like right now is the confusing time where it's like what is Elseworlds, what is like tied together. But
right,
I mean, if they flesh it out the next year or two, it's fine. But yeah, right now it's just a complete.
It ain't gonna be in the next year or two. It's gonna take them like 7 years to get this back on track, dude. Like,
yeah,
I don't know where you go from here because like. I don't even want a Justice League now. Like, I just like I'm just scared. I'm scared.
Well, like the slate that James Gunn put out, like it is more like he is throwing more like random stuff in there at least. So, like that is what's kind of cool about him. Is like he'll pull from just random shit and make it, make it work. So that's the good part, hopefully. Yeah.
Like what's Fair Play supposedly in Superman? They're casting him, right?
Who?
Fair Play. What's the guy's name? Black guy with the face paint, leather jacket.
Oh, they had him on the Flash, right, on the TV show. Can't remember the name though.
They did. It's Fair something, right?
I can't even think of what. It's like the last season I just watched in the Flash. So I don't remember though.
I don't know who we're talking about.
Oh shit.
Face paint. Fair Play.
Let's see.
What are we talking about? Mr. Terrific. Wait, no. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a very different name.
Almost the same.
Fair Play is what his jacket says, right?
I don't even remember. But yeah.
Yeah, it is. Okay, that's what he says. Fair Play is what his jacket says.
So Mr. Terrific's going to be in the Superman movie?
That's what the word on the street is.
All right. Fair enough. It's cool. As long as it's not bad as Craven. Like, they're not even doing like... Yeah, I don't get it.
What blood or what bites Mr. Terrific to make him Mr. Terrific, you think, though?
A T-ball. A T-sphere.
The Sony stuff is weird because, like, my gripe, I don't mind these movies. Like, it is what it is. I'll watch any piece of garbage put on screen. That's just who I am. That's the type of person. But if I had the rights to Spider-Man and all his friends and villains, I would just go as batshit crazy as I could with it till I'm legally forced to stop. You know what I mean? Like,
I know that's what they're doing.
But I feel like even with Craven, it's like this weird mediocre pool. Like, fuck it, we're getting Spider-Man versus Sinister Six, Part 1, and no backstory, no nothing. Just get right into it.
Oh yeah, that would have been better.
Like, just get full steam ahead.
Yeah. See, here's my thing. Like, what's going wrong with what they're doing is, are they trying? I'm not sure they're trying to make us care about these characters, but you're losing the focal point of who you're supposed to care about, right? Because like if you have to invest 2 hours to know who Craven is before he goes and gets his face punched in by Spider-Man, or almost kills Aunt May or so, or no, Aunt May's dead, but you know what I mean, like does something horrible to Peter's life. You don't need to know his whole life story before that. You need to know where Peter is in his life and how this guy relates to it. And that should be done in Peter's stories. You know what I mean? Like we're so it's kind of confusing. It's like, why am I supposed to care about anything that has to do with Craven other than what his motive is for hunting Spider-Man? And if it takes you 2 hours plus to tell me that, you did it wrong. You did it wrong. Like that's just the reality. It doesn't need to be that. And so that's the same goes with Morbius. Like they spent 2 hours giving me this bullshit story, and then in the post-credit scene, Vulture's just like want to team up against Spider-Man, and you're like, why? Spider-Man. Why? I don't understand. It was so quite weird. The logic leap. It didn't like. I get that that's what you're building towards, and that's cool. But if you're actually building towards it, then spend the time explaining the relationship between the villains and Spider-Man, and not have Spider-Man be the afterthought.
Is the Scorpion guy involved in these other movies yet, or he's just in that one scene only, right?
He's in the one scene.
The scar in his eye.
Yeah, but he'll come back for sure.
He'll just get a Scorpion movie in like 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's gonna get a 3-part movie. Like it's they got.
If they really, put him in the suit, I'd be down for a Scorpion movie.
Because they got to tell the story where Scorpion becomes Venom for a while too. That happened.
And we're building the Rhino movie because he's in the Craven movie, so we'll get a Rhino movie next. You know.
Yeah,
it's a weird Rhino though, right? Isn't the Rhino just a guy in a suit?
Yes, the Rhino.
Well, this one he's like morphing into it or something like that, or he gets bit by a Rhino probably.
I don't know, dude. It hurts. It hurts my brain.
Well,
I don't want to think about Craven anymore, please. It makes me sad. It just like it's so dumb.
It's just
October's gonna get her soon enough.
Yeah, it just seems weird to go. It's like you're playing with the toys in the dumbest of ways. Like, you know, you have a garage full of cars that are really cool, and you're just taking around the block.
It's that kid that takes the G.I. Joes and puts them in his butt. It's that kid.
That's definitely not the way to play with it.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to play at your house anymore because you don't do it right.
3/4 inch.
Like I don't. Yeah, that's what Sony's doing. So Sony is that kid who puts G.I. Joes in their butts. There you go.
Oh.
I'm so glad I am free of the disparagement clause at this point. That's what they do. Nobody watches our show anyways. It's okay.
Well,
thanks for hanging out though, Zach.
I appreciate it. It's always fun.
Yeah.
You'll find my G.I. Joes.
If anything, if nothing else, if we can get you turned on.
I only play with classified.
You only go classified, huh?
Yep.
Those are
I mean, I could go retro. Those are 12-inch.
Nice. I have nothing else to add to this tonight. I kind of do want to get to bed at a certain soon. I do appreciate you guys hanging out, and it was funny. It was funny to shit on the Flash. I know Ricky was trying to steer us off of that faster than I wanted to.
Well, it's been hard because like no one I know watched the movie yet, so I can't talk about it with anybody.
Yeah,
I thought a lot more people would like hate watch it or curious watch it.
But like, I thought
people
more
don't
like
want to support Ezra Miller.
Should have watched it. Well, yeah, like that probably had a lot to do with it. But like, it's just weird that it just did so bad. It's crazy.
I didn't think it would do this bad. Like, it is kind of shocking how bad it's doing.
Well, I saw like the estimates were like quickly changing week to week as we were leading up to the movie.
Yeah, they wanted like 70 originally going into the weekend, right? Like last minute, they went to like 55. And
yeah, they just kept
this way,
crazy.
Up until Wednesday of this past week, it had not been the #1 movie. So that means Elemental and Spider-Verse and Transformers were all beating it out in some respect.
I heard Elemental kind of bombed too.
Elemental bomb bad. Yeah.
Yeah. For how much money it costs. I guess both Elemental and The Flash roughly cost the studios about $300,000. That's including marketing and stuff. And both of them did not come close to making that this week. So, ouch. Did Transformers make good money?
I think it made decent money. I haven't checked.
Okay.
Enough to do a sequel.
Did you like it?
Yeah. I mean, if again, what was your comment? You only go to the movies for at the bare minimum your eyes to be entertained.
Well,
this movie does it.
I don't think
it's Transformers doing Transformers shit.
I don't think I said I go to the movies for the bare minimum. I'm saying
that is the bare minimum.
At a minimum, it better be entertaining my eyes.
It does that. I think Pete Davidson Robot works pretty good. He's pretty funny. And yeah, sure. I'll sign. You're telling me Joe's are in the next one? Sure, I'm signed up. That's enough of a dumb hook to like. Cool. I'll put it in my order.
Was it Channing Tatum G.I. Joe or Dwayne Johnson G.I. Joe? Who is there a real cameo or what is it?
Bruce Willis G.I. Joe.
It's a business card. I'm not even kidding. They hand him a business card with the Joe's logo, and then they show a plane. They show a cool plane, but there's no like notable Joes.
They couldn't even secure a real cameo, huh?
Mm-hmm. They'll never get the Rock back.
Yeah, they didn't commit to hiring anybody yet.
I mean, it's not like the Rock's doing any DC stuff. He's got time, you know.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Well,
terrible. Terrifier 2 has better canon than those movies. All right, that's on Peacock, by the way. I jump around from platform to platform, but I would say Paramount Plus has got a lot of good stuff on there, so you should check that one out. If at nothing else, if you like Star Trek, you should check out the Lower Decks. That one's pretty good. Are we gonna go now?
Let's go. Let's wrap it up. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
Bye guys.
Thanks, guys.